Hey, Aggie.
Hey T, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. So Brian and Rod, we are back to talk to you guys about drones.
It's like we have our own show.
Yes. I'm thinking Wayne's World.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that earlier because of my basement. It's kind of reminiscent of Wayne's World, stuck in the basement. So lovely.
We just need mullets now.
Exactly.
Anyway,
okay.
we are taking a look at how we can forget about drones to spy on your neighbor. We're now going to get to work with drones, and our pizza's going to be delivered to us tonight by a drone. Sweet as that.
I thought that was crazy. That video blew my mind away. I was like, how is it? Okay, so my first thought was when I saw the pizza delivery video, and then I went from there, I saw the one that they did, it was in Europe somewhere, and it was some strange name pizza company. But then I went on YouTube and watched the Domino's one that was done in London, England. So my thought was, how can you just have all that stuff flying around in the air? Like, won't it get hit by something else?
Well, the issue I have with the pizza is some bird is going to eat that.
Right, or like dropping on it.
Well, that's all right. As long as it doesn't make it in, right?
I guess so.
It's okay. It still needs to be covered in the same whatever temperature.
Yeah, that's true.
Bag thingy. I'm clearly great.
Yeah, the bag thingy.
You know what I mean? The thermal bag to keep it warm, right? So it's not really on your box, but I'm sure that a bird would rip that thing open to eat the pizza.
Seriously, it must smell delicious. But here's the other thing. Okay, did you happen to look up that? I don't remember if it was online or if it was just when I was kind of going through research on the internet. Did you see the one where Amazon wanted to implement this from delivery from their big center?
No, that must have been something.
Okay, I must have found it. So they had a prototype drone with these boxes from Amazon. So you order online from Amazon, they throw it in a box, the drone picks it up at the end of this conveyor belt and flies off to your house, drops this box out front and then takes off. And I was like, well, but what about, how did they get the box back? Like, they didn't address it. It's a minor detail, but there'd be a lot of yellow boxes all over the place.
Well, and what about the whole signature? Like when you want the security to actually be signing.
Exactly.
And not have it just
left on someone's
in your yard.
Exactly. And where's the security in terms of, like, if it was left at the front of your house and you're at work, someone could come and take it. Right?
I'm sure they'll. I suppose at some point you would be able to tell them what time home.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if you think about, I mean, that's a different from UPS that has to deal with traffic. And they have a bunch of other ones to deliver, and it'll get there when it gets there. I think with this, they'll be able to be a lot more accurate with time, and then you would be able to actually tell them when, which is cool. But I think eventually, like, I don't know, people order a lot of things online. There would be a lot of.
That's what I mean.
Which I think
it'd be like a buzz of activity up there. It'd be really weird. They'd be all over the place. And especially if we're
also doing that driving
we know we'd have to be dodging the delivery guys.
Except that you would specifically be going after the pizza one.
Oh, I forgot to pack my lunch.
It's a whole new level of stealing.
It's so weird. And what about the people who have those, I put on that thing, how to take down a drone?
Yes.
Where they could totally, like, look, that looks like a big package. Disable it and drop it into their yard.
You know what my thought was? When you're the person flying, and they have one big enough to grab. You find out. That's what I thought when I saw it.
That's gonna. It could, and that could bring like a whole different level to stalking. It's like entrapment. Take you out of the sky. I don't Okay, but here, on a serious note,
It's so true.
did you see where I posted about, sorry, I'm just looking at it on my iPad here, where I posted about what the rules and regulations are?
Yeah, so I was thinking that was interesting.
Yeah, so
The
article on the Russian
Yes.
that was from just
being
over
delivered,
2 years
that
ago.
was from just over 2 years ago.
Right.
It was June 2014.
In the States, with their regulations,
in
that
the States,
clearly
with their regulations,
can't
that
happen.
clearly
And I wonder
can't happen.
if
And
I just sort of wonder what would
if
happen in the
I just sort of
States
wonder
with
what would even
all
happen in
the
the States
stuff
with
with terrorism.
all the
in
stuff with
terms of them
terrorism,
becoming more lenient
in terms
with
of them becoming more lenient
drones
with
being able to be flown where you can't
drones
see them.
being able
Right
to
now,
Right?
they
down
have to
where you
use
can't see
eyesight,
them.
right?
Because right now they have
Yeah,
to
there's-
use
Clearly,
their
anything
eyesight,
that's
right?
delivery
So clearly
would not
anything that's
fall
delivered
It wouldn't
under that.
work.
would not fall under
Sorry?
that.
It wouldn't work.
Sorry?
Like,
Well, they would have to change that, but I
Well,
sort of feel like
they would have to change
the
that,
US
but I
and
sort of feel
terrorism,
like
I find it
with the
difficult to
U.S.
think
and
that
terrorism, I find it difficult
they
to
would
think
soon
that
be at the point of
they would soon be at the point of being.
I would agree with that. And the other thing, too, one of the regulations was that you're not allowed to fly over, like, neighborhoods. I'm like, well, how's that
Oh,
going to...
I didn't remember that one.
It didn't actually
I
say
didn't
that,
remember
but
that
here,
one.
I'm just pulling it up here. And first of all, it's also said you cannot fly over people.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, where can you fly then?
Well, if you live in the country, clearly you're good.
Well,
Yeah, which is interesting that the Domino's Pizza one was done in rural London, England. So then, of course, they weren't flying over anything, and no,
Right.
and they weren't near buildings.
Right.
Okay, here it is here. Okay, so it says, yeah, it says cannot operate over people. I'm like, well, how could you fly into a neighborhood then? Because there's always going to be people outside.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue for any sort of.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue for
Yeah.
any sort of
It's a
delivery.
great.
Which
I mean, it's a great way
Is
to
a
get
great-
rid of worrying about
it's a
traffic.
great way to
And-
get rid of
Getting
worrying
places
about
on time,
traffic
but
and getting things.
And then
to
it
places
also
on
says
time,
Canadian. Now this is for recreational use, to be honest, but Canadian regulations have swatted
Right.
away recreational use within 150 meters from people, buildings, structures, or vehicles. Well, I guess you could fly.
essentially in the country.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you
Essentially
could
in the
fly
country.
higher than 150 meters, right? And you could just go up, but then you have to stay below 500 feet. Well, what's that actually? What's the conversion on that? 500.
So you said it has to be above what? 150
So you
meters?
500
it has
feet
to
would be
above
like,
what? 150
um,
meters?
500 feet. If you divide that by 3, that'll give you how many yards it is, and a yard is close to a meter.
Yeah.
Wow, this conversation is not going anyway.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Okay, so you have a 2.4
Okay,
meter
so you have a 2.4 meter
flying.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
flying.
so 500 feet
Right.
is 150 feet.
Yeah, so 500 feet.
Okay, so how is that going to work? Like, you're going to have to be a pretty amazing flyer
It's not.
to be within that 2.4 meters of
Yeah,
flying
that's
range.
it's kind of crazy that they have
Yeah, that's kind of.
the
It's
two
kind of
different
crazy that they
measurements
have
for units.
the two
Well,
different
it's only
measurements
because
and they use different
it's only because the 500 feet one I pulled off of the FAA, which is American, so they work in the imperial system.
Right.
Right.
And
Okay,
if I had
the
have
other one was
actually,
Canadian.
if I had have
Right.
pulled it from the
Okay,
Canadian
so the other
website,
one
it would have
was
been
Canadian.
in meters,
But
most
that's
likely.
still weird that because
That's
the
still
Canadian
weird
follows the
that-
FAA, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
almost
the Canadian
identical.
follows the FAA,
So-
So
right?
you would think that they had done the conversion.
So
in
you
which
would
case
think
it's
that
pretty much just
They had done
can't
the
do it.
conversion. in
Yeah,
which case
right?
it's pretty much just you can't do it.
Okay, and then here's
It's
my
weird.
other question about this. Okay,
That's so weird.
so drone, like, Rod puts the drone topic in our module, and so I'm always kind of bringing it back to, well, how would we use this in education? How could we use this in education? So I was Googling some ideas about that, and I came up with this one YouTube video where a phys ed teacher was using it inside a gym as an aerial view to show how his students were, spaced out on the floor, like to give them that vision. But that was done before these regulations were put in place. And my first thought was, what if he had to hit a rafter and it came crashing down on a child? Like, maybe not the smartest idea. I don't know. I was like, yeah, that'd give a good perspective until it killed one of the children. Like, that's not funny. Okay.
And all of a sudden the regulations were different.
Yeah, but really, how else would we be able to use it in education? Like, when we're thinking down the road, obviously. What do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we're having students create videos of different things.
I don't know. I mean, we're having students create videos of different things nowadays, right? And so, I mean, it could be helpful for creating a video where you wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking like Google Cardboard.
That you want before,
but a self-created video, like an aerial view of your city or of your neighborhood, that could then be transferred to a Google Cardboard site, such as like a virtual reality app, to use as a presentation. Like, I thought that might be an interesting idea, but they're so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I want to get one of those ride-on ones, but my husband says we don't have $45,000 in the budget for it. I don't know.
The mortgage is paid off.
The other thing I was thinking too would be great to use a drone to be able to capture a live event happening, but you can't be over people.
Yeah, that's definitely.
You know, like it would have been great to be able.
Yeah, that's definitely
like,
an issue.
I don't know. For example, if our kids are playing in the championship game, wouldn't it be great to have a drone have a live feed for kids that couldn't go to the game and are back at school? That would have been awesome.
I think that is pretty much possible.
But I don't think, I think that is pretty much possible.
Yeah, but a drone
technology, right?
A drone would be way more fun.
A bunch of the games that
it would.
Sorry?
It's not necessarily budget friendly.
Sure it would. It's just not necessarily budget friendly.
So I don't know.
It's true.
Babe.
Yeah, like
no, it's totally true.
Just realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, you're trying to figure out how it fits. Just realistically.
Because of regulation.
I think there's a lot of things that we can already do, and because of regulations, a lot.
And
of
like you're saying,
it's good still to know about things that are out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good still to know about things that are out there and available, even if it's not for use in the classroom. It doesn't mean it can't be something that the kids are looking into, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to be working out in a world that uses these, so they can still do some sort of project on how to use drones within whatever, even if they're not using them, right? So it's still good, and taking a look at the technology that's available, or that to utilize by drones, what are different ways that they can use
that's
that?
true. I think what I'm going to do with our drone topic is maybe just over the next week kind of focus my search on things that could be adaptable to education, some other ideas, and if I find some, post those online. But
yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I feel like I'm sort of in the same place of I don't really know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I feel like I'm sort of in the same place of I don't really know
makes it worthwhile, right? Because
exactly.
How to use it in a way that makes it worthwhile, right? Because
it's maybe not as cool, but
at the moment that we're thinking of, you can do.
Yeah.
It's maybe not as cool, but it's a lot cheaper with the iPad that I already have.
Yeah.
To
Videotape, that ages you.
Or videotape the game, right? So.
The old VHS.
Yeah.
All right, well, should we wrap this one up?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, we look forward to seeing your responses, Rod and Brian, and yeah, that's about it.